Let's go. There we go. Oh, that was quick. That was a hot red dot.
What's up?
Welcome back. Yeah, when you're fast, you're fast. Welcome back to the Holin None Podcast. I'm Shanky with my host, Danny Bidness.
What's going on, mate?
Coming at us from a hotel room in cold Melbourne.
Beautiful Melbourne. Yeah, good to see you in your radiant skin today.
Sure.
You're looking amazing.
I think it's that hotel Wi-Fi screwing with your screen, mate.
No, because Hayden doesn't look as good as you do, mate. You're glistening.
Yeah, but that's just life in general.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. And speaking of Hayden high tees coming out, just sliding doors open or closed. I'm not sure what that's
closing. Yep.
Closing. Yeah. No, good to have you, mate. Look, guys,
Thanks, buddy.
We're getting into the Fedex Cup. Obviously, the other weekend we had a great live tournament, and we also had a not super exciting PGA event, but it was very important for some individuals to make the cut for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Speaking of which, this episode we're going to jump right into a new format designed by our very own Hayden High Tees, and we're going to get into our FedEx Cup Playoff Championship Holin None style podcast. Hayden High Tees, take it away.
Yeah, cool. So how this is going to work, I guess we'll give a rundown on the FedEx Cup to see, so not everyone sort of understands how that plays out. There is 3 events that come up. The whole season, players earn points, and if you finish in the top 70, not like Justin Thomas or Adam Scott, you get to play next week. And then if you finish inside the top 50, you get to play the next week. And if you finish in the top 30, you get to play the final week. And this is these are $20 million events. And I think the final week, where it's the top 30, is like maybe a $50 million event. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what we're going to do is, based on our betting results, we're going to, and sort of copying our live drafting, what I've done is, I hope you can see the screen. Is that coming through clear?
Yep.
Loud and clear? So what I've done,
2023-0808.
Cool. So we've got 3 different teams. So we've done like the snake format, and based off our betting results, which we'll get into later, but Danny can sort of give us a quick rundown on who's coming first, who's coming second, and who's coming third. So whoever's coming third, with the lowest amount of money won, gets first pick at one of these teams. Now, so your team, you get their net score, like their, say your team goes 20 under, where it says total down the bottom, you'll be 20 under for the week. So this is FedEx St. Jude. We've got the BMW, and then we've got the Tour Championship, and it all adds up. If your player doesn't make the cut, though, you lose that player. So these are the top 18 players. We get 6 players each in our team. You don't get to mix and match. Whoever's coming last picks a team, and then whoever's coming first gets the remaining team. Where it gets interesting, though, is our 6th player in each team. So Siwoo Kim, Tyrrell Hatton, and Xander. You can opt to wildcard them out for anybody else in the top 70.
So what do you mean by that?
So let's say you get team 2, and you're like, I love my team, but I can't stand Tyrrell Hatton. I want Tommy Fleetwood. If Tommy Fleetwood's in the top 70, you can get rid of Tyrrell Hatton and bring him in. So
can we get rid of anybody in the team, or only the last one?
Only your lowest ranked player. You can't get rid of Sepp Strucker.
Because I'm just looking, but I'm looking at that being like, well, really only team 1's going to have anyone that you want to get rid of, because you're not going to get rid of Hatton or Xander.
There's some really, really good players just outside, like your Colin Morikawas. There's Sam Burns. There's Fleetwood. There's a few of them floating around there. Jordan Spieth. So it's the FedEx Cup playoffs. It's not, you might think that somebody's going to go red hot. And for balance of your team too, but that's up to the player. Like, that's just the way it is. So if you like it, that obviously Xander's a pretty good last man standing, but you never know. So how it's going to work, Dan, if you can give us, without revealing too much about the bets, who is coming first, second, and third after this week's results?
After the week just gone, there's been a bit of a change up in the leaderboard, and we've got Hayden still winning, obviously. I'm coming second, and Shanky's coming last.
Perfect. great. This is
So,
strategic.
you've just timed it perfectly.
Strategic for
mate.
the FedEx Cup.
Now,
That's right.
this is a good one. So Shanky's going to get first pick, Dan's going to get second pick, and I'll get last team standing. The prize money. This is what everyone's here for in FedEx Cup season. It all means a lot unless you're Justin Thomas. The winner, the guy with the lowest net score of any of our teams combined at the end of the third week of the Tour Championship, the other two players have to buy him a pair of socks each. So the winner's going to receive not one, but 2 pairs of socks.
Wow.
Love it.
I don't have any at the moment. This is great.
So get excited, boys. It's like this is like a designated event. The sock
like it.
tally is doubled.
Can we say they have to be like a fancy sock? And by that I don't mean that doesn't mean expensive, but they can't just be a plain white sock. You know, it's got to be.
Absolutely. We're
It's
talking.
got to have some pizzazz.
It's got to be a pizzazz. It's got to be able to be worn inside a business shoe, under business pants, and if the pants come up, people want to know what that sock is.
Can I make
And
a request?
They can't be used socks.
You can make
of
a
course,
request.
Yeah. So can I make a request? Would it be possible to get Johnny 3-putt's picture on my socks?
Well,
Look-
you on the socks that you're going to buy me, you can do that for sure.
Yeah. We'll see. Because now that you're demanding custom socks, you get to start picking your team. So any other questions? Sorry, boys. Any other questions?
Okay,
Oh,
so
it's
one
a
other thing
total-
I wanted to say, actually, at the start of the Tour Championship, the guy who's coming first, let's say Rahm's coming first, he actually gets a 10-stroke head start. We're not taking that into account. We're talking net score only.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's all right.
Okay. So any other questions?
All right.
it's
So
the-
just
it's
to
the net
recap,
score, the net score from the whole weekend, like positives and everything included.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
McIlroy goes 10 under, and say Xander goes 1 over. They net out at -9.
But it doesn't reset each week. It carries over.
It all carries over. So you could
Okay.
end up winning with a -250 or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all relative.
Okay.
and how's Dan going to win without relying on live players?
We'll
Really
see.
hard. Future live player Rory McIlroy will
Jason
lead
Day
our
was
line.
pretty close to going to a live. So
Oh,
Yeah. I sense it feels like a day kind of day, but we'll see. We'll see what Shanky picks.
all right. So to recap, we're snake picking our favorite FedEx Cup picks. These will carry over through all 3 events.
No, we're not snake picking. They're
no,
already
you're
being
picking
snaked.
one of those teams.
One of
Team
those
1,
teams.
Team 2,
So
Team 3.
the teams are snaked
Okay.
already. So that's the current
So
ranks.
we don't get to pick.
You pick one of the
gotta pick-
teams.
You pick a roster, and there they are.
Gotcha.
And you
So you're
can
up.
ditch your lowest ranked player of your team for any player in the top 70.
Yep.
So
Okay.
say I go last, so I get to pick my top 70 wildcard first.
Okay.
Okay.
We know that you want Colin Morikawa. It's okay. We're not going to take him.
I'm going to take Tommy Fleetwood. It's
Don't do it.
all right.
right.
So
My pick first.
Yeah. Who are you
Yeah.
taking?
All right.
and I want to hear why, boys. I want to hear why. I just want.
Okay. So team 1 has got some great talent. Obviously, Rahm has had a great season, although he's not really been peaking lately. But Harman definitely has. Hovland's been solid all season. Taylor's garbage. Cantley's garbage. Siwoo Kim, he's all right, but I probably would swap him out. Scheffler, Clark, Bradley, Day, Kim, and Hatton is just a solid team. I probably will take that one. But then looking at team 3, McIlroy obviously playing well. Homa hasn't had a great season. Fowler's playing great. Finau, not. Like I said, I don't really think he's
FedEx
playing
Cup
that great.
season is
I
Tony
know.
Finau's
I
season.
know. He
I was
puts
going
on
to
the
say, how has he not
Jordans
had a
and he
great
makes
season
things
for
happen.
Homer when he's come 4th in the FedEx Cup rankings? It seems like he couldn't have had much of a better season.
I'm talking about who's peaking right now. Like he's not
Recency
peaking right
bias,
now.
I get it.
Yeah. Straka's only done well recently, but overall through the season, could he do well again? Maybe. And Xander's always good. I would love to have Xander on my team, to be honest.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take team 2. Yeah, I gotta take team 2.
Team 2, Team Shanky.
Yeah.
Who's your
Yeah.
captain?
Captain of the team.
Yeah.
And what do you get for cap? Is the captain do
Nothing. You
anything?
get nothing. I
Nothing?
just want to see what you say.
Look, I'm gonna go with probably the most charismatic of the bunch. and go with Jason Day for captain.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leaves team 1 and team 3 remaining for Danny Bidness.
Yeah, look, team 2 was the team that I wanted. I didn't think that'd fall to me, unfortunately. That team 1, it's just something about not being able to sub out Harmon or Taylor really is just giving me the ick. So I'm gonna have to take team 3. I'm gonna have to go with Roy McIlroy, Mr. Golf himself, Mr. Fedex Cup Finale. And you know what? I would rather be cheering for Fowler and Homer than not cheering for them. So that's my I'm not a big fan of Straka, but yeah, Xander will be there or thereabouts. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna pick the guys I want to cheer for, and McIlroy, Homer, and Fowler, exactly those people.
Yeah, that's an easy team to like.
Yeah, I was gonna say team 3 seems like a crowd favorite, like a lot of great names on there.
Yeah.
Team 3 would have a good party.
Seb Straka, he's just amazing.
Except for
player.
Seb would just be in the corner.
You guys give Seb so much, but he's an amazing player.
Oh, he is. He is.
Cool.
If we could sub any of them out, I'd be subbing out Straka, but you can't justify subbing out Xander. That's the problem. He's too good when it comes down to this time of year.
100%. I agree. So obviously I'll be taking team 1. John Rahm, not so bad. Brian Harmon, hopefully a little bit of form there. Find some fairways for me, albeit 50 meters back from everyone else. Victor Hovland,
and left-handed.
Absolute great. You got to cover your left-handers. Victor Hovland, what a great player. Nick Taylor, picked him, top Canadian. It won me something this year already. You never know. I like Canadians. Patrick Cantlay, the boringest bloke out there. Love it. Take his time. And Siwoo Kim will be replaced by Tommy Fleetwood.
Right now, you're not even giving me an opportunity.
Tommy's well, I'm the last pick.
I thought you were definitely going to take Morikawa there.
Morikawa's burnt me. I'd love to go back.
He has burnt you. That's why I thought you'd take him.
Absolutely.
You know what? If I could sub out Striker for your Hovland, my team would be the most likable team on planet Earth.
Yeah. So I'm taking Fleetwood. I'm sorry, Shanks.
All good, man. All good.
So Fleetwood will be replacing Siwoo Kim. I saw Siwoo this weekend. Wasn't impressed.
Enjoy.
I mean, you're not replacing Hatton though, surely, Shanky?
I am replacing Hatton, but or maybe I'm not. It's not my choice. It's your up.
Oh, is it me? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep. I'm gonna hold on. Well, we got Xander. Looking down the board from Xander. I mean, apart from maybe.
Sorry, just to be clear, I'm replacing the 18th ranked player with the 26th.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking, apart from maybe your Justin Spieth, your Jordan Spieth, I was thinking about Justin Thomas not making it. Your Matt Fitzpatrick, maybe, who could make a run right now. You've got Cam Young as well. There's just, I really like Matsuyama coming on strong as well because he hasn't done a lot this year. But I can't get rid of Xander. Xander's too reliable.
Gold medalist.
Yeah, he's a gold medalist. He's gonna take us to another gold with Team Business. So I'm sticking strong. The guys who got me here. I didn't dance with the girl you brought.
Roger.
Cool, right, mate.
What do you got for us, Shanky?
Yeah, I'm dropping Hatton. I know he's been playing solid all season, but I just don't want him on the team. He's just an angry man. I don't get it. It's not my style of golf. I'm going to pick up Spieth.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, 31st ranked Spieth. I mean,
good value.
He's on the cusp of, he just needs to hold it together and he'll be on that last weekend. So just clarifying, the two lowest players picked, Fleetwood and Spieth, 26th, 31st. If they drop out and they don't show up, we just don't get points.
Ooh.
I don't like
so if one of your players gets cut, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, like let's say Rahm just blows up and doesn't show up, he's gone, and I don't get it. He's not in it anymore.
But you carry that score over. So if he hits like a +10 and then he doesn't play again, you just you're carrying +10 for the rest of the 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
So
that's the way golf works. You can't delete any rounds, unfortunately. So we want people you want people that are going to be there for the 3 weekends in a row and scoring in the negatives.
I was going to plead a case for me to pick Hatton up now that he's been dropped in place of Xander, but I think that the point you made was right. He might bring the vibe down. with I think McElroy is angry enough. I don't need to add another one.
Oh, I'd take Xander over Hatton any day, though.
I know, but I have a soft spot for Hatton. I've been bidding on him all year.
All right, boys. Well,
he's your spirit animal.
Thanks for taking part. Good luck. And obviously, may the winner enjoy their pair of socks each, provided by the losers. So,
sounds good. All right. Well, we can drop this off the screen, Hayden, whenever you'd like. All right, guys. We had 2 tournaments this weekend. What do we want to talk about first? We want to talk about Liv, or we want to talk about Wyndham?
Let's talk about the guys who missed the FedEx. We're on the FedEx Cup. Let's just cover that and then get into Liv, because I think Liv was probably the better of the events. Not that I got to watch a lot of it, but yeah, let's talk about the guys who missed the cut. You were telling us, Hayden, that they 71st, 72nd.
Yeah, look, after day two, Adam Scott was charging. He was right there, man. I think he was like 4th or 5th. Is that right, Shanky? Something like that. He was right
top
there.
5.
And he kind of just fell out of it. JT made a run in day 3, and then I think it was day 3. And then day 4, he like on the 18th had a chip in birdie that like missed the hole by millimeters or inches or whatever your system of measurement is. And like, you know what? Like, it sucks that they're not there, but it actually made this weekend more interesting because they got more airtime following those guys trying to make the FedEx Cup cut than the guys that won the comp.
Yeah.
Like Billy Horschel was there. He should have won it. He fell off. It made it interesting. And I guess it shows up some implications for these guys that don't want to show up every, they want to play there's 8 events, and if you're not going to show up, you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, unless you're in Liv.
Unless you're winning. Unless when you show up,
unless you're
win.
winning. Yeah,
you have to win. So if you're, and that's why, and like JT, I guarantee JT doesn't play this week if he had won an event or if he was higher up, right? He's scrambling. And what do you always do? Like you got to front load your work week, right? You do all the hard work on Monday, Tuesday, not Thursday, Friday. No one wants to be back at the office till 7 o'clock on Friday, and that was JT playing golf.
He was there at 11:59 p.m. on Friday night.
JT's got a deadline. He's been drinking all week. He's been out on the golf course, and he's trying to cram in his work on a Friday afternoon while everyone else is at the pub, and it wasn't a good look for him. Let's put it that way. Adam Scott, I feel differently about. I feel like Adam Scott just sort of floats around and does whatever he wants. He didn't quite make it, but Adam Scott's got nothing left to prove. I don't think he's coming. I feel like Aussie golfers have less pressure on them than some of these American guys. Everyone loves Adam Scott. Adam Scott could do whatever he wants, and people are always going to love him.
Yeah, and he doesn't follow.
Man.
He's a beautiful man, and he also a beautiful swing, and he also doesn't follow like generic. Like he's not Titleist sponsored. I think he's with who? Miura, whatever they're called.
Yeah, Miura.
Miura, like the super expensive Japanese brand now. Like no one else is with them. No one else is with Uniqlo. Like he just goes off and does what he wants, and everyone
on
just
Miura.
supports it.
By the way, there's a fantastic video of him going to the Miura plant where they build the clubs, hand build them. It's amazing. It is so cool. He's like literally watching the guy hand forge with a hammer his like irons. It was amazing.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, and the whole time the guys are just like, "Oh, Adam Scott, we love you." Like it's everyone loves him. It was, but on him like all season. I've noticed what you said, Dan, is that he kind of like makes a charge a little bit here and there, but he hasn't put together 4 solid rounds like pretty much all year. Adam Scott,
yeah, but I feel like it also hasn't bothered him that much. Like he plays a really good round, and he's like, "Yeah, I played really well today." Then he does it, he's like, "I didn't play very well today," and that's about his range of emotions.
It's just a bit like stoic or something. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't really give much. Like
I think it's 2 different players in 2 different life stages. Like he's already got a good legacy, and I think Justin Thomas is building his. And there's a different driver there too. Like Justin Thomas, like he's not in my Ryder Cup team.
No.
And I mean, like that's what he's playing for too. Like if I was the Ryder Cup captain, I would be like, yeah, this guy's can put it together, and he grounded out and he got into the FedEx Cup playoffs, but he didn't. So and that's only a 12-man team. So, I mean, I'm on the phone to Bryson.
But it must be hard for him to if you think about him and his mates, right? Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth. It'd be like the 3 of us if like one of us just didn't get to go for a golf weekend. is basically what the next 3 weeks is for JT.
That was Ricky Fowler last year. Ricky missed out last year.
Yeah, I know. So it's just like, it'd be like us going on a trip and not one of us just having to stay at home. It'd be a hard feeling.
But it's also like, JT could be that one guy who didn't pay his deposit, and we're searching for money, and we've given him his last chance, and he still hasn't paid, and we can't take you. You know what? I think I read a quote. I don't know if it was from Brooks or someone. I can't remember who it was, but it basically said, hey, the only way JT's going to the Ryder Cup is if he buys his own ticket. It's just
that's such a Brooks thing. I hope it was. Brooks is brutal.
Yeah,
I've grown to like Brooks a lot more lately.
Yeah, like I said, when the Netflix documentary came out, I actually enjoyed his episode where he was kind of just putting everything on his sleeve and just kind of saying how he felt. I actually thought that was better than if he was just being like kind of a dick, just pretending like he didn't care when he actually does care. So I actually enjoyed that, and it was good to see him come back into form. It's great to see a lot of these guys come back into form this year, like Fowler, like people you thought maybe, were done or maybe weren't, going to show up again. Even like McIlroy a couple of years ago, I think when he was really kind of focused on the face of golf rather than his own game, and he was just doing everything, attending every event, like his golf was going way downhill. And then he's like, what? Yeah. And now he's just like, I'm focused on golf. I'm focused on what I want to do.
You know what I think was it's got to be one of the best stories of the year, or one of the best things of the year of golf this year has been Ricky Fowler's resurgence, right? Like Ricky Fowler and Jason Day winning that, like Jason Day to a lesser extent, but Ricky Fowler has just been the story of the year, and it's been so good to watch. Even though he hasn't won anything major, but he's just, it's so good to see a guy like that just come back and done really well. So I wonder who's going to be the guy next year. Maybe it'll be JT next year.
Well, look, I think the guy that we can probably even move on to this is. I think the guy, and it was Brooks, and I think it's Bryson. I think he's back. He's figured something out. You don't shoot 58 on accident. And I was listening to a different podcast today, and they were just like, "Oh, we don't know how the course was set up." Well, it's like, what do you mean? Like they just scored the same amount as some of those shitty like second-rate PGA events. Like it's not like it was like 58 in the rain. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like, and was it Rahm came out today and said like it does, because I think the course was easier. But Rahm came out today and he just said, like, I can't remember what the quote was exactly. He's just like, anyone who shoots 58, that's like a crazy thing to do. So congratulations. Like, tag Bryson. And it doesn't matter. He said it doesn't matter who you play for or where you play. 58 is not easy for anyone.
It's relative. Exactly what Simon's about to say.
Yeah.
Cam Smith was there. Cam Smith did badly. Brooks was 3 under.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy golf. And you know what?
He's just such a hard guy to like. That's my point. He's such a hard guy to cheer for.
I think he's great.
I think golf is just better with Bryson.
I think
it is.
Involved.
I think Bryson is exactly what you said, Dan. He's a goof. He's an absolute goof.
Yeah.
He's a dork. But like
Magoo,
honestly, if any of us, I would say we're all dorks. Like I don't think any of us are the coolest people in the room except for maybe Danny Bidness, self-proclaimed. But honestly, I think he's great for the game. He tries to change the game. He tries to get super technical the way he thinks about things, which I find really interesting. I don't obviously take his style of golf. I don't think I could do that, but I think he's better for the game. And you can see when he's hitting fairways with his bomb drives, he just needs to get it close and put it in. And when his putting's on as well. And that's the thing. When Bryson wins, his drives are amazing and his putting is amazing. And he always wins.
Good putter. What do you think about the 1 length clubs? The theory behind the 1 length. Does he still use 1 length?
I think so.
Look, I saw
six
a
iron
video.
length.
I saw a video of the live players. One of the English YouTube influencers was on a hole at Centurion with a Tiger Woods 1 iron, and he was getting them all to hit 150-meter shot into a par 3. And it was like DJ, Cam Smith, everybody. And the interesting part was one of the best attempts was Bubba Watson turned the club around, had it like how we, hitting a right-handed club upside down, and he almost hit the green from 150 meters out with a 1 iron. So like 1 length clubs is not a factor. Like if a pro uses that kind of thing for long enough, whatever, they'll hit anything. You give them a baseball bat, they'll hit a green. Like, yeah.
I just think for me, it's about like the 1 length club, like a 6 iron is probably a comfortable spot, but I wouldn't want to be hitting a pitching wedge that was the same length as the 6 iron. That'd feel so strange. It'd be so hard to control.
Well, it's interesting because I was watching a video recently that Bryson put up, him versus Phil Mickelson, and he was talking to Phil about, when he hits a normal 7-iron, because he hits it, he's got so much clubhead speed. Using a normal 7-iron, he'll get so much spin and so much height, and it'll ruin, like it'll not ruin, but it'll change his dynamic loft and all that. So the same length clubs, when he plays that way, I think he's doing it because of that reason. Because his club head speed's so high, he can actually change his trajectories with the same length club, or he knows how to hit them better.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not. He's the scientist, not me. I don't really know all the reasons behind everything he does, but I do like what he's doing. I do like how he's not just, a lot of guys are just ebb and flow. It's an art. You just hit the ball. It's all about feel. Like, he's not like that, right? He's doing something different, and I can respect that.
Yeah, I agree. Look,
Yeah.
I'm glad. I hope he's back because he causes waves.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
for being a dickhead, but for being
Hey,
weird.
tell you
and
what,
different.
if there was one person here who was glad to see him win, it was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Because
Yeah, well done.
he pulled me back big time with the betting.
Yeah, that was a really good. That was a good effort.
And
Yeah.
I'll say this too, like, it was really exciting seeing him on that last green when he's 60, right? So he needs to hold this eagle putt, right? And he's already thinking breaking 59. And he's actually saying in his interview that he was at one point thinking about breaking 54. Like, he was like, "No, reel your head in. That's not going to happen."
That's a Bryson DeChambeau thing to say,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? That's what we're
That's the
talking
most
about with him being
Bryson
a dog.
thing
Yeah.
I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
It's like, oh, I got a 58. Oh, I could have done better.
But for him
Come
to,
on, mate.
but for him to make that eagle putt, like, not just 59, but 58 on the last hole was just awesome. I've watched videos of it, and the crowd's going insane. A lot of people are saying, like, I didn't expect myself to like a live event so much, but that was pretty awesome.
Look, one thing I want to bring back to is when he remember. I can't remember if you guys remember when he started playing well again. It was the week after he got rid of his caddy. Like, I think there's something
Yeah,
to
you've
this.
been on that. Yeah,
I
you've
reckon
been
there's
on
something
that.
to this, man.
I know you want to get rid of Bones. I know it.
But like, I'm not saying it's not me having got Bones. I just think that they don't mesh.
I don't know.
Because he brought Bones on, they won the PGA Championship. So I mean, it's a major, but it's progressively gone downhill since then.
If we talk about JT not being in the Ryder Cup and who might replace him, when I think we should sit down and talk about like who's going to be in the American Ryder Cup team, because I think we were talking in our chat, like, the European team's starting to look stronger. At the beginning of the year, all of us were saying this Ryder Cup is going to be an absolute shambles. They're going to get absolutely smoked. The Americans is going to destroy Europe. But I think if we sat down and like really put pen to paper and said who's in that American team right now, like, once you get past, like, obviously you got Scotty, you got your Brooks, like, once you get past the sort of 6, 7, 8 guys, it starts to become okay, well, is Harmon going to just automatically qualify if he can?
Harmon's qualified on points, so he's not.
But doesn't it take in if it doesn't the FedEx Cup still count?
Not 100% sure, but as far as I know, he's in as like a points in.
Have any of the live guys? None of their stuff counts, right? They have to be a captain's pick. The live guys, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And how many captain's picks are there?
Well, actually, no. Brooks qualified on points
because he won. Yeah,
because he won the.
But I think he may be in captain's pick. But like, there'll be a civil war in America if they don't pick Brooks in that team. Like, he deserves.
I know Brooks will be picked 100%. Like, I'm just thinking now, like, do we want to go through that now and pick and like talk about who our 12 would be for the American team? Like, what do you guys think? It's like, if we had to pick and it didn't matter about automatic qualifying, no one's picking Harmon, right?
Yeah, I feel like the team that won last year, like last time, Finau, Xander, the only difference is Bryson's probably not going to be there, and I think that Harmon probably. Well, I don't think so. I think most people would pick Bryson, but I feel like because he was part, like. I just feel like they don't pick Bryson. It's too little, too late to like. It's not like he made a huge run like Koepka. I think it's going to be a very, very similar team to last time. Maybe Sam Burns.
Yeah, Sam Burns, Cam Young. We don't think makes it.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, Spieth's got.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do we put pen to paper and actually like who's going to be like at the moment? I'm up to 6, and I've got Scotty, Brooks, Finau, Xander, Cantlay, DJ. Right, they're all guarantees. Like, is Morikawa a guarantee? He
DJ's not a guarantee.
No, but I think he's Captain America. You've got to pick DJ, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they left him out. To be honest, I'd love to see him in there.
If we say that the whole automatic qualifying thing doesn't matter,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I've got Scotty, obviously, Brooks, obviously, Finau, Xander, Cantlay, DJ. Who's the other auto locks? Like Homer, is he
I've
a
got it
lock?
in front of me. I'll tell you the auto locks, right? As
Yep.
it stands. The auto locks are Scotty, Wyndham Clark, Brian Harman, Koepka, Schauffele, and Cantlay. So obviously Clark and Harman threw the spanner in the works because they've knocked out Justin Thomas
So
and
who'd you say after Harman? I missed that.
Harman,
Brooksy.
Koepka,
Koepka.
Schauffele, and Cantlay.
Cantlay, yeah.
Yeah. And then
So that's at 8. So we're at 8 players now. So you've still got 9, 10, 11, 12. So if let's say Harman and Clark automatically make it, you got 9, 10, 11, 12. Like Finau's getting picked.
Is he? He's not on the bubble.
I think so. I reckon you're going to pick Finau, right? Again, that's the thing.
There's 4 guys on the bubble, right? There's 4 guys on the bubble, right? Who are like in the points. So there's Max Homa, Cameron Young, Jordan Spieth, and Keegan Bradley are all on the bubble for their points as well. So
I think they pick Homer. They definitely pick Homer because Homer's like a long-term investment. He'll be there for the next 3 or 4 Ryder Cups, right?
Yeah.
So if you add Homer in, you got 3 more spots. Who's taking those 3 spots?
I go, to be honest, looking at that list that you mentioned, I go Ricky Fowler. He's still young.
Yeah.
Ricky for sure. He's hot right now. He'd be good for the team. I don't know how DeChambeau should be in there at the moment. He's hitting it well.
I like Bryson, for that. Like Bryson's a good. I mean, he proved he could do it last year. Why not pick him again if he's just won an event and hit a 58?
Yeah.
So
but
you got
I
Bryson.
just feel like they won't. I want him to be there, but I feel like for some reason the politics will get in the way and they won't pick him.
There's still one more spot before we even start talking about backup. So who's the other spot? Is it Morikawa?
I actually like
Cam
Young. I like Cam Young because of how he hits the ball so far paired with somebody.
And you know what? Didn't Cam Young win the match play event this year?
Yeah. So he's proven to be out. Yeah.
When he came second or something, like he did a really good job in the So there you go. That's the team that we've got: Scotty, Brooks, Finau, Xander, Cantlay, DJ, Clark, Harman, Homer, Fowler, Bryson, Cam Young.
I just feel like Keegan Bradley's 10th, and we're doing him dirty.
Yeah, then we got Bradley, you got Spieth, you got JT, you've got Horschel, you've got Horschel hasn't played very well, but just Patrick Reed even.
Spieth is 9th in points, so he definitely gets picked in that team.
So no live guys except for Brooks are qualifying on points. So they'd all need to be captain's picks, right?
Okay, so what does Keegan Bradley come in over Bryson maybe? DJ maybe?
I wouldn't put in KB. I don't think he's such an anxious guy. I don't think he'd want to even be on that stage.
Yeah, and some of these guys, like Zalatoris is out because again, so their team is stacked with people that they can pick, but I don't feel like a lot of them are threatening. Like if we did the same thing with the European team, maybe next week, I reckon we see I reckon the European team is going to be very, very competitive, which is really good for us.
To be honest, I think the European team's going to destroy them this year.
You reckon? Because it's in Europe too, right?
Yeah, I think the European team is going to.
From all accounts of what I've heard, that Rome course is not very good.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
In what way?
We saw how some
like a lot of the players are just like they don't like it. It's narrow, terrible. Yeah, the consensus is it's not a very good. No, this is not from. Generally speaking, all accounts of it, it's not a very well-renowned golf course.
Why are they playing there?
If I think about the Open that just happened, what happened at the Open? All the American guys struggled at the Open, right? Because it's not Florida golf, it's not American golf. Yep. So maybe that's the difference this year. And I think maybe next week we'll have a look at the European Cup team and see how that looks, and then we compare the two and see who we think is going to win. But I think
it might be a little bit like Valderrama, maybe. You know how Valderrama was like it had like trees in the middle when you had the fairways and it was really narrow. Like I feel like it's that kind of golf.
Yeah,
they should have done a links course, to be honest. The Americans seem to struggle, except for Brian Harman.
Wouldn't that just be so funny?
That would be great.
Well, I mean, the Americans did that. They made the Palms go to Whistling Straits.
Yeah.
Which
that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like that. Even though it's windy, it doesn't really play into their game. So.
But I mean, like the Europeans have Robert McIntyre. Like outside of links golf, is he really that good to have on your Ryder Cup team?
I mean, outside of the Scottish Open, did we ever mention his name?
No.
So.
But he qualifies. He qualifies on points.
I actually feel like it's going to be quite close, and there's about 6 or so informed players in both teams.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of what ifs.
let's do the European team next week, and then we'll put those teams up on a spreadsheet and see side by side who we think is going to take it out. Maybe do some score predictions as well. But yeah, that's should we talk about the Live Golf event now? Did you guys watch much of the Live or?
It was in a terrible time. I think tee off was
so hard to watch.
It was really bad, right? It was one of the worst golf times we've had for weeks.
Yeah, I watched the replays every day, the highlight packages. It looked like a really nice course. Like it looked like a really nice golf course to play, which makes me feel like it was like a resort course almost.
Yeah. So that's why you think it might be a bit easier because it was a bit.
It looked
like if we look like we would like it. Yeah.
Nah, it looked like pins were tucked. There was bunkers defending greens. Like it looked hard, but it looked manicured. It looks like one of those ones where you'd spend $500K a year to be a member.
I thought the greens looked really soft. So like some of those boys could literally just throw darts up and stick it wherever they wanted to if they were feeling it. There was one hole where Cam Smith ripped it back like I think 20 meters. Like he put it to the very back of the green and ripped it back all the way to the flag. It was insane. So I do think the course was probably playing easy, but even if it's playing easy, shooting low 60s should be your score. Shooting below 60s is still phenomenal. So I'm not taking that away from Bryson. I did watch the highlights when I could. I think one of the biggest call-outs was Matty Wolf. Shot phenomenal. He's coming back. Maybe he should be on the Ryder Cup team for the US.
I love that. I love that he's just been like he didn't make any press conferences. He didn't respond to Brooks. He's come out and probably been like, yeah, I suck, and he's doing something about it. I love that. The only way you can respond is by going out and doing what he did.
He came out after that comments came out, and he said that he's like, oh, it's really disappointing that my captain would say that about me, or something like that, something to that effect, right? But that was all. Like he handled that like a professional, I think. Yeah. Which I like, but I still don't really rate him as a golfer. And he did well this week, great. But so did Brian Harman at the Open. And I don't
he was hitting some bombs, man. On the second day, I think. The first day, I was watching his highlight package. He was like hitting like Bryson style over corners that people couldn't hit over. I forget how long he is. He is like so long. Yeah,
because the way he swings it is literally a whip. Like he's literally like charging it up every time he swings. It's just so weird to look at. Yeah. Although I will tell you right now, there is a guy at Nudgy who swings the exact same way. He's an old fella, and I played with him the other day. He swings the exact same. He's can't hit it near as far, but yeah, it's something to behold.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, unless there's anything else,
that we had some good like that. We had some different names up on the top of the leaderboard, which is good. A lot of the big guys sort of didn't show out, right? Like Cam didn't do very well. I think DJ didn't do very well. Like when I added up our totals for the betting, like all the guys that I picked, apart from obviously DeChambeau, like HV3 and Ortiz were up close to the top of the leaderboard, right? Like
HV3 did really well. I love when he talks. I love when they catch him talking too. He's just like, he's always awesome. Like if you're talking about someone who's cool and not a dork, HV3 is the coolest guy on the course. I love to hear him talk. There was one shot he hit where it was short, and he goes, "Don't stop now, baby," because he wanted the ball to roll out more. Man, it was funny.
He's a dude. He's a dude.
He should be on the Ryder Cup team. He would bring the vibes.
Bring the vibes. That's it.
The only other thing I sort of wanted to bring up before we disappear out of here is, have you guys seen the PGA Tour schedule for next year? I think I put it in the chat. You may not have.
I haven't looked through it yet. Sorry, mate.
The only thing, and the reason I looked at this, like I'm not going to pretend this is my content. I heard another people I watch talk about this. The new designated event, they've taken it. I can't figure out who they've taken it off, but it is the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am is a designated event, which is it's really strange. It goes Century, the first event of the year, Century in Hawaii, which I really like Kapalua. Always a big fan of it. Low scores, but it's low scores for everybody. It's a beautiful course, up and down hills. And then there's 3 weeks off, and then the next event is January 29, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, that's a $20 million event now. So I don't.
Wasn't it the Phoenix was a elevated event this year, and it's not this next year? That's what it is. The Waste Management.
Phoenix has to be. That's one of the best events of the year.
It's not.
But it's not. You know why it's not though? You know why it's not? Because they know that those motherfuckers are going to show up to play that course anyway.
Yeah.
So they don't need to make it an elevated event because players are going to go because that's where you get the best vibes.
And
the
fans
best...
are going to go anyway.
Yeah.
But
it's a smart
interestingly,
move,
it goes Pebble Beach.
You're right.
It goes Pebble Beach, Phoenix, then Genesis, which is another elevated.
And then Mexico.
And then Mexico. So Tony Finau is going to go defend.
Yeah. Gotta
they've added
stay
some,
the FedEx
I'm looking
Cup
through it
somehow.
now too. They've added like the Puerto Rico Open. Like, where did that come from? There's some there's some new ones in there, but I like it. I like how it's not back to back.
Well, and this is the other thing, that this is where we got that fatigue. It goes the Masters, literally the Masters finishes on the 14th, and then it goes elevated RBC Heritage the next. Like, so the boys are flying.
Even further than that, you've got the Memorial is an elevated, then the US Open, and then the Travelers is an elevated. So it's 3 weeks back.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, that's dumb.
I think
you know what it is though. It's about which sponsors are going to give them the
sponsorship.
money to make it an elevated event. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. It's all about sponsorship. Who's paying the most?
Plus, it's got to be about weather and when the course is ripe, and like they've got agreements in place, right? But I mean, I look at that and I like it. I think there's a bit of smart stuff there with the waste management not being elevated. But the boys are going to show up. Some of them will probably take it off, but
you know what though? There's no reason they can't just be like, hey, Zurich, we're switching you with RBC Heritage. Like, give them another week before the next elevated one, right? There's no reason they can't do that. They're close enough. The weather's not going to change that much. But yeah, interesting changes there.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up, and this threw Danny through the loop. So I played golf on Friday morning.
Let's hear it. Get into it.
I played golf on Friday morning, right, with this guy, lovely bloke named Ian, and he kind of looked like the old Prime Minister of Australia, Kevin Rudd. I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Rudd, Simon.
Kevin 07, of
Kevin
course.
07.
Yeah.
So we get playing, and he tees off, and I notice he's left-hander, tees off, and slices it off into the left-hand side. That was fine. And then he hits his next shot, and he's hitting right-handed. I'm like, what are you doing? Hold on, this is a bit strange. And I sort of watch him jump between the two, and then he's right-handed most of the time, putts right-handed, starts teeing off left-handed again. Then sometimes he'd hit his irons left-handed. And I was like, what is going on? And I sort of got chatting to him, and then I said to him, what do you got going on there, buddy? Can I have a look? And he goes, oh yeah. So, and he showed me his bag, and I put it in the chat. He had two drivers, a left-handed driver and a right-handed driver. He had all of his other clubs were right-handed apart from a 6-iron, which was left-handed. And basically his theory was he's relatively ambidextrous, stronger on the right, but whatever way the course turns, he hits a slice the opposite direction, depending which driver he needs to hit. It was, and the best part, double gloves that didn't match. He had a white glove and a black glove. It was just the most chaotic thing I've ever seen. I didn't know where, like, you can, he's slicing today, he's drawing today. You don't even know where that was going. And Dan was like, oh man, I couldn't play with him. It would just throw me off. I after he started going all over the place, I didn't talk to him all day because he was nowhere near me. Like, I played relatively well down the middle, and he popped up. I'd finish. I literally would like get a par or a bogey and stand there and wait 5 minutes, and he'd turn up and finish his hole.
Did you ask him how many like wives he has? Like, this guy probably has like multiple wives. Like,
it was crazy.
Kids.
He and yeah, I don't know, man. It was like a 34 handicap. Plays 3-4 times a week. It was just.
What do they say? Some people just want to see the world burn, right? Like, he's just.
Yeah.
If you're a 34 handicap, you've got no business having multiple handed clubs.
Yeah, I just don't know where he got that from, but it was pure chaos.
Yeah,
as long as he's having fun.
Like, Bryson's trying things, this guy's trying things. Someone's gonna break through and figure out golf eventually.
Maybe.
Not Ian.
Not Ian.
Well, good on you, Ian. Shout out, fan of the pod. Love talking about you. All right, let's get into this week's picks.
Let's jump into that. I did update the spreadsheet, but for some reason it didn't tag. But basically, if I open it up on my phone here again, we had a good week. We did a live draft last week, which worked out very well for me. Having Mr. DeChambeau coming through with the win at $16, so that was $160 in the account. My combined top 3 score was -50. So shout out to HV3 and Ortiz for chipping in there. Didn't even need DJ in the end, which was great. It was actually pretty close between you two boys. Shanky with a -31 and Heighties with a -30. So it was almost forced to play off there, but unfortunately it was, I was head and shoulders above the rest there. Mito got you a top 5 though. Shanky.
The humble brag.
Mito got you a top 5.
What's that?
When you can.
Mito was a good
got
pick.
you a top 5.
Mito. Yep. Yeah.
At $3.80. So you pretty much lost you gained $8 on your total after you lost the 30.
Coffees for the young
which
man.
is fine. So your $89 turns into 90 something, or negative 90 something, negative 81. Sorry, my negative 177 is turned into negative $17. So it's a big jump. So $160 from Bryson and the $30 from the thing, and Hayden, your 65 just turned into 35.
Cool.
Positive though. So
Munoz was close, I think, on day 2, and he kind of fell off. So a bit of a shame.
Yeah, too bad it's not a 4-day event, right? But no, it was a bit of a shambles there. But Bryson's just, I think me picking him has really inspired him to go and hit low on the weekend. So
yeah.
Fair enough.
He was buoyed on by the second round pick. So this week, what we're going to do for the FedEx Cup, we're just going to do a straight T5, T10, T20. Keep it nice and simple. Obviously, there's a small field, so we can't do the T40 we normally do. And I'm going to kick things off. I can't type into the spreadsheet, so if one of you could type it in for me, that'd be great. But my picks are going to be T20. I'm going to take Mr. Xander. I think that Xander's going to come out and just be steady for me for this whole FedEx Cup situation. T10, I'm going with Mr. Scotty Scheffler. I wanted to pick him for T5, but because he's not in my FedEx Cup team, I didn't want to give him too much credit. So Scheffler for a T10 there. And T5, I've got to go with Big Rory. He's my captain of my team, so I've got to back him in. So I've got Rory, Scotty, and Xander.
I don't think Scotty's finished lower than 10th all season, so good pick there.
There you go. So I've got a 5, 10, 20, Rory, Scheffler, Xander. What do you got for us, Mr. Shanky Watts?
All right, so I'm going to pick these on the spot because I wasn't prepared for this. T20, we'll go T20 first. I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to try to get some big money here.
Some value here.
Get some good value. I'm gonna go. He's not the guy with the most pizzazz. He's no Ricky Fowler, but I'm gonna go Keith Mitchell, top 20.
Keith Mitchell.
Keith Mitchell, top 20.
Great ball striker.
Great ball. He plays Mizuno's. Dan. I'm sure you can appreciate that. My top 10 is gonna be Tommy. It's got to be Tommy. Got to be Tommy. Got to get him in there. And then my top 5. You know what? He's due for a top 5. I think. Let's go, John Rahm.
Okay, I like that. Big Rambo for a T5.
Rambo.
Right, good job. I'll get the odds on those. What about yourself, Heighties? What do you got?
I'm going to stick with my team that I've picked. I'm going to see them through. We're going to go T20. I'm going to go Brian Harman. He's going to fairway his way into a T20. I think there should be some value there. Like, no one bets on Brian Harman. Sorry, Brian. We're going to go T10. I'm going to go. It's hard to tell with these boys, actually, because my team, the rankings don't really help the team there. We're going to go with Tommy. And
Tommy for top 10. We've got 2 Tommies.
Yep. And top 5, I'm going to go with Patrick Cantlay. I feel like he's going to suffocate the field.
Yeah.
I've got 2 suffocating players, Harman and Cantlay.
You do. You've got the worst team to play golf behind.
Yes. I hope they're a trio, and it's a 6-hour round.
I mean, I could stand it looking at Tommy's hair that whole time if I was behind him.
Yeah, fair enough. With Harman and Cantlay, though, I don't know.
I'd be too busy looking at
Harman, Tommy,
the beautiful man that is Tommy Fleetwood.
And what was yours again, Simon? I'm writing them down.
My 3,
Mitchell,
I had
Mitchell for
Rahm top
T20.
5. I had Fleetwood top 10, and then I had Keith Mitchell top 20.
Cool.
There you go. So that's the bets for the St. Jude.
St. Jude. All right, looking forward to it. The first playoffs from the PGA. You know what? I'm not usually a fan of the PGA playoffs, but this year I feel like it's a bit more interesting.
I feel like there's
I'm a
more on the
fan
line.
of the first. I'm a fan of the first few weeks. I hate the last week how they do the -10 thing. I think it's so stupid. I think maybe give the guys in first and second maybe -3, -2 for a little, but like -10 is just an insurmountable lead. If you give John Rahm 10 shots on the rest of the field, no one in the world's catching him.
The prize money is so high that they play defensive, and I don't think it's been that many blowouts. Like there's been playoffs, there's been all kinds of stuff. So
I guess last year the guy who was in first didn't win, right? So Rory came and pipped him at the post, but
yeah, true.
Yeah, I'd actually like to go back and see how many, when they've started giving the strokes, actually won.
I think when Cantley won, it was the most boring Fedex Cup playoff in history. That's why, because he was 10 from the start, and it just no one got close to him.
Yeah,
maybe we get rid of the strokes.
DeChambeau did. DeChambeau almost beat him.
Yeah, he did too. Yeah, they
went to like
remember?
Yeah, they went to like a 4-hole playoff.
Maybe we get rid of the stroke lead and we just give the winner a bifurcated ball.
Oh.
No, whoever's coming first gets to play off the ladies' tees. There you go.
You mean the forward tees?
The forward tee. The forward tees.
Because we're forward thinking, right? Here on the Holin None Pod.
Silver tees it, don't you?
Yeah. All right. So good bets. I can see we're ready to move on to our next segment, which is our Holin Out segment. So Holin Out is where we kind of talk about, something good that's happened that we want to appreciate during the week, or maybe just something we want to have a bit of a yarn about. So, you know what? This week, let's start with Danny Business.
Love it. I'm actually prepared for Holin Out this week. I'm holding out on Melbourne being the greatest city in Australia. I am down here at the moment for work, and everywhere you go, there's just a version of something that's better than anywhere else. So the coffee's really good. The nightlife is great. And obviously I went out tonight and had myself a seafood laksa. Found a little Malaysian store, no bigger than a couple of tables in a shop. And I just asked the lady, what's your best dish? And she goes, oh, do you want soup or do you want noodles? And I said, I'll have soup because it's cold down here. And she recommends the seafood laksa, which was only $13 too. $13, you get a huge bowl full of seafood and just deliciousness, sitting out in the cold Melbourne weather with a beer in hand. There's not much things better than that, I don't think. Having a nice meal to yourself, a little bit of time before you come and do the pod. So holding out on Melbourne being just one of the better cities in Australia, and cheap Asian food just hitting the spot perfectly. That's what I'm holding out on this week. Nothing
good
much
on
like
you
it.
for asking the chef, tell me what I should order. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
best way to do it. Now let's go
and
back a little bit.
She didn't direct me to the most expensive thing on the list either. She directed me to one of the cheaper things actually, which is so I knew that it was good.
Look, I think at those places, those kind of divey type Asian restaurants, the most expensive thing on the menu is probably not going to be that much more than the next thing. But but yeah, definitely they know what they're good at. Now let's go back a little bit, and you're saying Melbourne is the best city in Australia, if not the best city in the world. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I didn't say the world, but I said Australia, definitely.
Okay, definitely said Australia. So you're saying it's and we talked about coffee a little bit there. You said they had good coffee. Is it better than Georgie's? I want this on record.
No. So the thing about Melbourne is there's more places that make good coffee. So in Brisbane, you go to a few places and you can find a bad coffee easily.
Yeah.
Right. But the places in Brisbane who do coffee well do it really well, like Georgie's. Georgie's is a great shout out to Georgie's and Banyo. Great coffee there. Sam, the owner, absolutely get down there, get a coffee. But here in Melbourne, everywhere you go does a high standard of coffee. So the bar is higher. But it's not necessarily better, but you can have full confidence no matter where you get a coffee, it's going to be good. And I found one place on the way to my office in Melbourne that just does absolutely phenomenal coffee. It's just like a big, like a container, a shipping container. And that's all it is, was just two guys with ponytails and mustaches that make you coffee, and it's great.
Yeah, what other guys would be making coffee?
No, exactly right. And they, but a lot of people here drink piccolos because it's a bit fancy. I get obviously my flat white, and I feel a little bit, my cup's a lot bigger than everybody else's, but it is what it is. And I've had about 4 coffees today because you just can't get enough. You're only here for a couple of days. You got to make the most of it. So Melbourne is the best city in Australia to visit. I don't know necessarily about living. I love Brisbane as a city to live, but Melbourne is definitely the best place to go for a couple of days for work or a couple of days for a vacay.
I would say Melbourne has the best food. Like if you're a foodie and you're talking about restaurants, you already kind of touched on this a bit.
Yeah.
I would say in Australia, best food. All right, so let's do this before we move on to Hayden High Teas. If we're talking about the best cities in Australia, rank top 3. Or sorry, top 4. Let's go top 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start with 4 and move up to your number 1, which is probably Melbourne.
Yeah, well, one's going to be Melbourne. I've already sort of let the cat out of the bag there. I would say for me, if you're talking about like not just cities but places, maybe like I love the Sunny Coast. I think the Sunny Coast is a really cool vibe. I think as you go to Sunshine Coast, Mooloolaba, Maroochydore, it's a bit more relaxed, a lot of sunshine, a lot of beaches. So that would probably put that at 2, Brisbane at 3. And I've got to throw Sydney in there because it's a major city, but I actually don't really like Sydney that much. But there's a lot of the good thing about Sydney is there's always something to do. But Sydney would be my lowest out of the 4 for sure.
Okay, so you'd put Sydney above like Hobart, Sydney above Perth.
Well, I haven't been.
You haven't been there, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I've heard really. Actually, I've heard good things about Adelaide, and I've heard good things about Tassie. So I would love to do those. And they're probably. I actually don't like Sydney at all, to be fair. So Sydney's probably going to be lower down on the list. But yeah, you can't go past Melbourne. If you're doing the top 3, for me, it'd be Melbourne, Sunny Coast, Brisbane, because I just love the Sunny Coast vibe. It's a bit more chilled, and Brisbane is a great city because you're close to Sunny Coast and Gold Coast on Brisbane, right? So
why not Gold Coast?
I like the Gold Coast for golf, but the nightlife is a bit. We're 30 plus years old now with kids. It's not really our scene anymore, is it?
Yeah.
But I mean, Burleigh Heads.
I was down at the Gold Coast the other week for work, and it's very nice. It's beautiful down there, but I know what you mean. It's like it's not my demographic. Place. It's not. I don't. No. Yeah.
Well, I think we go there once a year and we party hard, but that's enough. One night of partying hard for us on our golf trip is plenty. And you know what? The Gold Coast only needs it from us for one night a year too.
I think the Gold Coast is very much. There's some really nice places, and then there's some really sleazy places, and you just got to avoid the sleaze and stay in those good places, and you'll love it.
That's a great word.
Definitely the golf is definitely one of the best.
It's the best place
in Queensland. Yeah. Although I have heard really good things about Hyatt and Coolum. So if you want to go up the Sunny Coast, try that before it becomes way too expensive. I'd be keen.
Maybe next year our golf trip will be up the Sunny Coast because you've got Twin Waters or Twin Rivers and Pelican Waters.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. I played those. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Hayden High Teas, what are you holding out on?
I got 2 and I'll keep them short and sharp though. First one I'm holding out on, not happy. Doing a bit of travel when I have to go into head office. Small cars or motorbikes in car parks. So if I drive into a parking, I've got I've got like a truck, right? We're going to call it a truck. When you drive, you see, there's a park, and you basically have to drive into it to realize there's a tiny Nissan Micra at the very back of the park that you could fit 2 of them in it, or there's a motorbike in the middle of the park. I just feel like putting the motorbike on the back of my tray of my car, backing it in, and we can both park there. It's the little cars that park right at the back, and they tease you, man. You hold up traffic, and you're going to go pull in there, and then So that's one that just kills me. The other one, I bought some golf pants online.
Good for you.
I've been eyeing them up for a long time. They're really nice ones, and our friend Dan. Dan, yes, he has a pair of them. So I bought a different color, obviously, but they're really nice pants, and I bought them, and they're on special and 0 shipping, and then I get a notification. Yep, they've been packed and they're on the way. So I look at the notification, and it's coming via FedEx, and I was like, okay, FedEx, that's different. And then I checked where it's coming from. It's coming from Baltimore. So I'm like, okay, that's different. I didn't realize this was outside Australia, and it said 2 days. So I'm like, okay. Wake up the next day, it's already landed in Brisbane. No, it was in New South Wales, sorry. And then today I got notification it left the Brisbane office and it was at my door. So FedEx, that is fast. That is crazy. I forgot about it.
When the FedEx Cup starts, they are on. They are on it.
They're on. So shout out to FedEx Cup. But the other thing I want to say on that, when this came, these pants, they came in a box, right? And these weren't expensive. They were like $100, which I thought was quite good. You open it up. There's a thank you gift. The pants are beautifully folded inside one of those Ziploc plastic bag things. There's a thank you card, which had like a letter in it. Thank you. they came with a little box of teas that were color coded to their labels. The packaging was beautiful, and like it was such a good feeling and great unboxing experience too. So shout out, I think it was McCade Golf. I'll put it in the chat for the boys to see. Very good. Would buy again. Fedex made it great. Packaging made it great, and the pants fit great. So
nice. Go back to the motorbike thing though. That the small car thing I get, but the motorbike is next level because there's motorbike car parks, especially in places like Newstead where you go to work. There's specific car parks for motorbikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now Shanky, you used to ride a motorbike.
Yeah.
Were you a car park parker or a motorbike park parker?
I was more of a Peter Parker, but I always parked. There's always one spot. I was always
that was horrible.
That was great. There's always one spot I parked, and it was up on the curb, designated motorcycle parking area. I always went there, but I could rock up like 30 minutes late for work, and there'd be a spot there. I never had to worry about parking on a motorbike. I don't know why you're taking car parks on a motorbike at where you go to work.
It's obnoxious.
It's obnoxious.
It's very obnoxious.
Not as many motorbikes, but small cars just doing that weird thing. That's bizarre to me.
But I guess the question is, do you think motorbikes are not entitled to a park when they pay Regio, and they're for the most part entitled to a parking lot just as much as the next person? Do you think that they don't deserve that spot because they're on a motorbike?
No, they don't.
Good. All right. At least
but like if you've got a bunch of mates on a motorbike and like 4 of you park in a car park, that would make sense to me. But with one,
it's a good use of space. Yeah, good use of space.
Yeah,
side by
one
side.
motorbike taking up a whole car park. That's like my ultimate ick. I hate that.
Yeah,
can't stand it.
Cool.
Can't stand it. All right. Well, I'll go next because that's the only person left. I'm going to hold out on the Groove It cleaning appliance for your golf clubs.
Yeah.
Because I don't have one. I have a groove tube, which is good. You kind of squeeze the water, comes out. But I played golf on Sunday with Johnny Bidness, and he had one that I was using because it's just convenient. First off, the magnet on it is unbelievable.
How good is it? Yes.
Hey, shout out to Johnny Three Butts, who didn't realize that it was magnetized for about 4 months.
Oh yeah.
So he thought he had to unclip the whole thing. So he's there unclipping it. He didn't realize he just ripped the thing straight off.
Oh,
and you know what? Best thing about Groove It, made in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Well, I don't. It's surprising because it's gonna take me a month to get it shipped over here. Yeah. And usually Amazon's pretty good to get it pretty quickly, but it's apparently going to take till the 25th of August, which is just.
You've got one, Hayden, and.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. I forget I've got it. I forget I have it, but yes, it's very good.
So even if that brush didn't clean anything, water didn't come out, didn't squirt, didn't do anything, I would buy it for the magnet because the magnet is so cool.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you don't even know where the magnet is. You just put it close. It's
one of those ones that to do it, you're like.
Oh,
the problem is, do you find it sticks to your golf clubs though? So when you try to clean the club, the magnet is just onto the club.
Nah, don't care. I
like it. It's a good thing.
I'll use my club as the cleaner brush now to do the next club. But yeah, look, that's what I'm holding out on. The other thing I'm holding out on, actually, now that we're talking about it, there's another guy. I don't think he listens to the program yet, but I'll get him on it. He's anti holes in bagels. And I don't get. He's anti holes in bagels.
Who?
Casey.
Sorry.
S. Casey.
What do you mean? What do you mean by anti-hole? It's not a bagel if it doesn't have a hole.
He thinks if you put a hole in a bagel, you're just wasting the space when you could just have a great, nice piece of bread.
This is as bad as that bloke Ian I played golf with. This is chaotic.
Yeah. No, because I know that Sean tried the bagel. I was talking to Sean when he tried his first bagel attempt. And obviously, trying to get him into bagels because he said they were the worst type of bread, which is obviously wrong. He wanted to roll them out and put them together. I said to him, I was like, you can't do it. You got to pinch the hole. And he sent me a picture of the first round that he made. They looked delicious. They looked fantastic. So I'm not sure where he's at with this whole thing, but I think I'll have to address it with him.
Well, the fun fact about the hole, the reason there's a hole in a bagel is because if you don't put the hole in, it doesn't cook evenly. So you need to have the hole in.
Mine don't cook evenly anyway because I roll them so badly. But no, if it's not a bagel, it's just a piece of bread.
Someone
It's just
talk
a
to me.
bread roll.
Yeah. He needs to smarten up. The last thing I'll say is we played Pacific Harbor, and the 17th par 3. I don't know if you know this, is the longest.
With the beach.
It's called Beach or Beaches.
Oh, did you play that this week? Did you play that this weekend?
Yeah, on Sunday. Yeah, and
cool.
It has the longest beach in the southern, or sorry, that's the longest bunker in the southern hemisphere. If you didn't know that.
Is it really?
Yeah. Cool little fact for you. Cool little fact to finish up, guys.
I was in that when I played it a few weekends ago. Oh, were you with us? You went with us, were you?
No, I wasn't.
You guys I went from the bunker. I hit my tee shot into the bunker on the left. Went from the bunker on the left to that long bunker on the right, and still got a bogey because I just did a really great. I got some rip out of that bunker, which was great.
So shout out Pacific Harbor, worst course in Queensland.
Disagree.
Not the worst. It's just one of the most difficult, and it's very punishing.
I did not think it was as hard as you guys.
Yeah, but you can hit the ball straight off the tee. That's the difference between me and you.
I barely hit my driver on that course, and
yeah,
I'll tell you what. On that 17th, this is actually great. On that 17th, Johnny Business, it's 25-kilometer winds. Johnny Business rocks up to the Johnny 3-putts rocks up to the tee. I just hit a 4-iron, right, and I'm pin high. He rocks up with a 5-wood, which I asked him, how long does your 5-wood go after? He's like, about 200 meters. I'm like, the hole's only 180. As he rocks up to hit the ball, I'm like, there's wind behind us. And 25-kilometer winds, right? He's like, there's wind behind us. He's like, oh yeah. And then switches clubs. I think he hit his 4-iron and he hits it pin high. Now he did slice it a bit, but he hits a pin high on the beach. And then gets an incredible up and down from the beach. Literally puts it 2 feet from the pin and knocks it in. And 2 feet is not close for Johnny 3-putts. All right, no, 2 feet is scary for Johnny 3-putts.
That's still 3-putt territory.
God bless him. But that was an amazing up and down for par, right? Like I had like a nice putt. I almost made it and then tapped it in for par, a stress-free par. He goes up and down to get the exact same score, and I was like, that was incredible what you just did. It wasn't like
I'm surprised you got him up there after that course slapped him up last time.
Oh no, he did. I think he played pretty well. He did pretty good.
Tell you what, the day that Johnny 3-putts learns how to manage a course more than 1 out of 18 holes, we're all in trouble because he's going to be a scratch golfer in no time.
Yeah, well, I think he actually managed the course quite well. I think his downfall, if any, was we won't bring up the putting, but yeah, just like.
But it's the putting.
more the execution. But no, I thought he played really well, and that up and down was amazing. And yeah, just good to be out on the course with him and use his groove it, which was awesome. Which is really all I was really trying to hold out on. But yeah, awesome. Well, guys, that wraps it up. Another great Holin None. Enjoy the FedEx Cup, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Let's go. Team Ram.